Have you ever found yourself in an ancient Chinese town, surrounded by stunning traditional buildings, only to realize you have no idea what you are looking at? The rooftops twist and sweep in every direction. The layout is beautiful, but mysterious. Everything feels important. But what does it all mean? China is one of the few civilizations with over 5,000 years of uninterrupted cultural heritage. Today, many of its ancient towns and cities have been preserved, not just for tourism, but to help us see and feel that long stretch of history through architecture. So, instead of just taking photos, why not learn to read these buildings like stories carved in wood and tile? Let's dive in and help you become a true insider when it comes to traditional Chinese architecture. First stop, we'll begin with the most eye-catching roof. This is the roof of the Hall of Supreme Harmony in Beijing's Forbidden City, where emperors used to hold their coronations and major ceremonies. You can see a main ridge running straight across the center of the roof, with 4 descending ridges going down vertically on each side. The overall shape looks very dignified and symmetrical, giving off a strong sense of authority. About 1,000 years ago, during the Song dynasty, architects called this four-hip roof or siding in Chinese, a technical term highlighting its four sloping surfaces. By the Ming and Qing dynasties, 600 to 700 years ago, it was elevated to hip roof with 5 ridges, or Wudian roof, reflecting its status as the highest-ranking roof style reserved for emperors and state rituals. But don't think this roof was only for emperors. It was also used on religious buildings, especially Buddhist temples that had a special state spot. For example, on Mount Wutai in Shanxi province, there is the main hall of Foguang Temple, built over 1,300 years ago during the Tang Dynasty. Back then, Buddhism was extremely influential, and even the idea of governing by Buddha was widely accepted. At the central hall where the Buddha statue was enshrined, it was regarded as the spiritual core of the temple, so it made sense for it to be topped with the highest grade Wudian roof, or hip roof with 5 ridges. Another example is Xiantong Temple, also on Mount Wutai, one of the oldest and most important Buddhist temples in China. It was first built about 1800 years ago during the Eastern Han Dynasty. And then, over the following 1400 years, 5 dynasties and dozens of emperors funded its construction and renovation. Its main hall, called the Mahavira Hall, had the Wudian roof as well, showing its royal level status. Now, let's look at another kind of roof. Compared to the solemn and symmetrical hip roof with 5 ridges, this one appears more complex and dynamic, with a multiple-layered structure. It has 1 main ridge, 4 descending ridges, and 4 diagonal ridges, making a total of 9 ridges. You'll notice that on both sides of the roof, there are symmetrical small peaks that stand out. In the Song dynasty, about 1,000 years ago, this roof style was sometimes referred to as the 9-ridge roof, based on its structural form. By the Ming and Qing dynasties, 600 to 700 years ago, it became officially known as the Xieshan roof, or hip and gabled roof, a name that evokes the image of a roof at rest, due to the gentle outward slopes of its side peaks. In ancient times, the Xieshan roof was ranked second in the hierarchy of roof styles and was typically used for important but not top-level buildings. Take Hall of Preserving Harmony for example. It was where the final round of the imperial exam, the Dianshi, was held during the Ming and Qing dynasties. The emperor himself ran this exam, and if you passed, you basically landed a government job right away. No surprise, the hall had a fancy Xieshan roof. It really showed how important the place was. Another example is the Jin Temple in Shanxi province, which also features a hip and gable roof. The main hall was built around 900 years ago during the Song dynasty. Since it was dedicated to the mother of a royal ancestor, the building carried a strong ceremonial significance. So, the high-status roof made perfect sense. It's worth mentioning that the hip and gable roof has a special variant. In this version, not only the left and right slopes are shaped like small hills, but the front and back slopes are as well. The four ridges crossed each other, forming a cross shape when seen from above. This is why it's called the cross-shaped hip-gable roof. You often see this kind of roof on highly important state buildings. For example, the corner towers of the Forbidden City use the cross-shaped hip-gable roof. Now, let's step out of the palaces and temples and enter the everyday homes of ordinary people. These roofs are simpler, practical, and modest. Usually, they have just two sloping sides, front and back. There are two main types. The first is called the gable roof with flush gable, which is common in northern China. For example, in Imperial, ancient city in Shanxi province, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This kind of roof has walls on both sides that meet the roof directly, with eaves that barely extend beyond the walls. This design saves the materials, protects from strong winds and fire, which is perfect for the dry and windy northern climate. The second is called the overhanging gable roof, commonly seen in southern China. A good example is Hongcun village in Anhui province, also a World Heritage Site. Its eave extends a little beyond the walls, almost like they are hanging in the air. This protects the mud walls and wooden doors below from rain, which is very suitable for the wet and humid climate of southern China. Finally, let's talk about a very common roof style you will see in gardens, the pyramidal roof. These roofs have 4, 6, or even 8 sides, sometimes even round, converging upward into a pointed top called a finial. You'll find this type mainly in two places. One is in sacred buildings, like the Hall of Prayer for Good Harvest at the Temple of Heaven in Beijing, where emperors prayed for good harvests. The pyramidal roof here symbolizes a connection between heaven and earth. The other place is in delicate garden buildings, like the Wenchang Pavilion in the Summer Palace, or the pavilions in the humble administrator's garden in Suzhou. These roofs add layers and visual effects to the garden landscape. There is also a twin roof style called the helmet roof, named because it looks like an ancient general's helmet. The biggest example of this roof style is the Yueyang Tower in Hunan province. Both the pyramidal roof and the helmet roof don't have a main ridge. Instead, multiple ridges slope directly up to a single peak, creating a strong upward tension. How can we tell them apart? The pyramidal roof's ridges run almost straight from the eaves to the peak. The helmet roof's ridges curve in an S shape, bulging outward in the upper half and inward in the lower half like a drawn bow. By the way, roofs like the gable roof with flush gable and overhanging gable roof are usually single eave, meaning they have only one layer of eaves. If a building has multiple layers, it's called a double eave. For example, Foguan Temple's main hall has a single eave Wudian roof, while the Southern Zen Temple has a single eave Xieshan roof. On the other hand, the Hall of Supreme Harmony in the Forbidden City features a double eave Wudian roof. Jin Temple's main hall has a double eave Xieshan roof, and the Hall of Prayer for Good Harvest at the Temple of Heaven uses a double eave pyramidal roof. Once you notice these patterns, you will start to decode many ancient Chinese roofs more easily. That's all for today. Next time you walk through an ancient town in China, look up and you might just find yourself reading history, writing in rooftops. Next episode, we'll review the secrets of the rooftop beasts. Follow us and stay tuned. Don't miss it. Bye!